Hello there, my name's Sarah, and today I'm bringing you a book review. As PR professionals, we write things that sound pretty all the time. But do those things really get our message across? This is the problem that Harold Evan tackles in his book, Do I Make Myself Clear? And I'll start off by saying that this is probably one of the best books on writing that I've ever read, but I will preface that with saying I haven't had a chance to read Anne Hadley's books yet. So, it could be overthrown. This book begins with talking about the importance of readability tests. Then he presents 10 steps for making your writing clear, transitions to sentence-by-sentence changes, and explores the readability of entire passages before wrapping up the book by reminding you how important clear writing is. As I said, the first part of the book is devoted to readability tests, which is something that I never really thought about before. I knew what they were as a student who has gone through a public relations program that began with journalism courses. I know that people read about a 6th or 8th grade level. And I know how important it is to not write above people's heads, but I never considered actually using a tool to test that, mostly just using my gut. And one of the really amazing things I learned is that simple writing does not mean bad writing. The famous American author Ernest Hemingway is known for writing at an average of a 4th grade level. If one of the best American authors can do it and make it sound good, you and I can too. One of my favorite readability apps is called the Hemingway app, named because of Hemingway's famous ability to write simply yet amazing. I'll include a link to that. Next, he gets into 10 steps for making your writing more precise. These tips include things like active voice, which as a PR person we all know to use active voice, being specific, and the most interesting of them was not being what is called a monologophobe. And a monologophobe is a person that refuses to use a word twice in a short amount of space. Now I get where they're coming from, I really do. But sometimes it leaves you grasping for straws to find a word, and it ends up being a word that just doesn't fit. So this can really destroy the readability of your work if you're not really careful about the way you diversify your words. This is where he introduces one of the best parts about this book. He includes a passage, and on the left-hand side you have the original work. On the right-hand side you have how he would edit it to make it clear. And that's really great because if I had to read something and then flip the page and read the edit, I would have totally forgotten what I read on the first page. Like most people would. The next chapter was interesting, and it's called Please Don't Feed the Zombies, Flesh Eaters, and Pleonasms. I have no idea if I'm pronouncing pleonasm right. If anyone actually knows, let me know. He defines a zombie as a noun that has devoured a verb. He says some of the telltale signs of a zombie are words that end in ants, ment, ints, mant, ant, and shun. There's a whole list of them in this book, is what makes this a fantastic reference book. Even if you only read it once, it's a book you should take to your office and just have it for whenever you need it. The author then talks about what he calls a flesh eater, and that is, quote, an unnecessary, pompous phrase and prepositional phrase that takes up space. There are then several pages of them, which is what, as I said, makes it a fantastic reference book. Some of these flesh eaters include, in the majority of instances, notwithstanding the fact that for the purpose of like I have to read them like that because they really are quite pompous and I read them every day. And I'm guilty of doing them, so. And then the pleonasms are simply redundant phrases. There is, like I said with the previous ones, a whole entire list of them. And then the 7th chapter includes a list of words that often get confused and they're simply pet peeves by the author. As you may have noticed at this point, the author is really generous with providing lists of the, to prove his point, which, as I said, it's a fantastic reference book. Take it to your office. I honestly did not read that part because it's a lot. So I can't blame you if you don't. What's probably one of my favorite parts of this book, he includes many passages and he shows them side by side in a table, left column, right column, and shows you what he means. He doesn't just tell you, he shows you. It makes it so easy to understand, and it's really what makes this book so fantastic. And it's nothing that any other writing book doesn't really have. It's just the way that he does it makes it so easy to understand. Finally, the book wraps up with a chapter about how clear writing can save you money and a lot of headaches. He includes a lot of different stories about how people have been screwed in one way or another because people were not clear with their writing. So essentially, he teaches you how to do it and then he scares you shitless into doing it. Especially as PR pros where that kind of thing can happen. So, like I have said a million times in this video, it is one of my favorite books on writing, and I highly suggest that you read it. Especially if you're a PR pro, if you're just someone who's interested in writing that wants to be better, fantastic book. Must read it. Like I said, Do I Make Myself Clear by Harold Evans. I'll include a link to the book on Amazon, and thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you later.